Hi there, my name is Victor Fabian Osada from Mimshach Properties and Consultancy. Mimshach Properties and Consultancy is a real estate marketing company right here in Lagos, Nigeria. Please, if you're here to subscribe to this channel, kindly click the subscribe button and subscribe. And if you're a returning subscriber, I want to say thank you and we hope you've been having a worthwhile time. Alright, very quickly, I will jump into what I am here for, and this is to talk about how you can get your money from your tenants. Now, I've had this a couple of clients complain. I've had a couple of conversations with some clients. So I've had some conversations with people, and they tell me, Victor, even the house that I have right now, the tenants are not paying, or Victor, I don't think I'm going to invest in real estate because tenants don't pay. Now, I would like to tell you first of all that is actually very debatable, because yes, we have people that pays their rent either monthly, quarterly, or yearly, and yes, that's actually a fact. However, I'm here to provide a solution. It might just be like a form of suggestion, but if you take it, it can actually help. Now, the only way you can know that this will work is if you put it to test. Now, very quickly, let's go into it. Now, the first thing you need to know is whenever you give a notice, a quick notice to your tenants to leave the house, the first thing is from the onset. From when the tenant is moving into the house, it should be stated clearly in the tenancy agreement the time limit the tenants have to vacate the particular property, should in case he or she defaults. Now, if that is not done, then you have to give the tenant a 7 days notice before heading to the magistrate courts. Now, in the courts, the law states that if it's in court, the law states that if it's a tenant at will, then it's 1 week notice. If it's a monthly tenant, meaning if he or she's paying, the rent monthly, then it's a month notice. Then if it's a quarterly tenant, it's 3 months notice. If it's also a mid-year tenant, meaning if he's paying his or her rent at the middle of the year, it's 3 months notice. Then if it's a yearly tenant, if it's paying his or her rent yearly, then it's 6 months notice. However, the law also states that in that 6 months notice, or whatever time he or she have to live in that particular property, the tenant is supposed to pay for living in that particular property. The amount of time the person has spent in the property, he or she is supposed to pay that money irrespective of the fact that he's leaving the property. Do you understand? But what happened mostly is that during that time, usually the tenant finds another place and they pack their things and leave without reimbursing, without paying the landlord for the time they spent in that property. Within that time they were served the notice. Whereas it is stated in the law, it's stated there that you're supposed to pay for the time spent while you were looking for another place. Now I'm profiling a very reasonable solution. So if you remember, in the 90s and early 2000s, we didn't have what they call caution fee. It was introduced, towards the mid 2000s, 2005 or 2006, 2007, thereabouts, and started gaining ground, and everybody started asking for caution fee. So what does caution fee really do? It covers up for the damage. So let's say, for instance, a tenant is living in a property and he or she is leaving the house. So if the landlord inspects the house and find out that there's actually damage done in the property, the caution fee will cover up for that. And so the tenant is supposed to pay caution fee while he or she is entering the house, at the onset, at the beginning, to cover up for damages. Now, we all know that when you live in a particular property for some time, there will always be something to fix. There's always going to be damages. So my suggestion is, why not scrap that caution fee and introduce what I call a refundable fee? And I'll explain. So in some part of Lagos, there are some landlords in Lagos here, and some parts of Nigeria actually, yes, that take 2 years rent upfront. So if it's not 2 years, they're not going to take the rent. So my suggestion here is, instead of asking for 2 years upfront, ask for 1 year, and then ask for a refundable fee. That refundable fee should be the exact same amount of the rent. Now, for example, if the rent is 600,000, just for example, it means that the refundable fee will be 600,000. Now, I'll tell you what the benefit of that. First off, like the popular saying, if you cannot afford something twice, it means you cannot afford it. If you cannot pay for something twice, it means you cannot afford it. So it shows, first of all, that the tenant is willing and capable of paying for that particular property. So it saves you the time of coming back to think maybe he or she, can afford it or not. Second of all, if in a case where the tenant defaults and you serve the person quick notice, instead of the person to find property and run away with your money, instead of paying your money for the time that he or she spent in your house, the refundable fee then covers up for it. Yes, the refundable fees then cover up for it. So if he or she has stayed, from the time you served the person a notice to leave or a quick notice, if he or she has stayed 3 months, the refundable fee covers up for that 3 months. So what you do is, you take the 3 months he or she has stayed in the house and refund, the rest back to, the tenants. Now, also another advantage there is in terms of the caution fee now. So when you have the refundable fee with you, you go around your property and check. If there's any damage, you take from that refundable fee and fix it, and then you give the tenants the change. So what it implies is that it does not only cover up for the time the tenant is going to stay after you have served him or her a notice to leave, it also covers up for what this caution fee, what the caution fee is supposed to stand for. So instead of waiting for just a little sum as caution fee, you already have 1 year rent. So if the law states that there's a 6 months rent for a tenant that pays yearly, to find there's a 6 months notice for a tenant that pays yearly to find another property, it means that you already have 1 year rent with you. So in between that 6 months, there's no need to barter words with the tenant. Just take that 6 months off, and if within the 6 months the tenant leaves the house, you refund the rest 6 months to him. And also, if there are damages, you go about and take down the cost of what it will cost to fix those damages, and you refund the balance back to the tenant. So it saves you stress, it saves you the time. It even saves more, because even in the case of damages, so instead of just taking that small 5% for caution fee, you already have a full year rent to cover up for your caution fee. Now, I must warn that if you are a landlord, you should stick with the agreement, meaning that immediately the person stays for the number of times, kindly deduct the number of months or weeks the person has stayed, and the cost of the damages done or the damage done to the property, and refund the balance back to the tenant. It will help this suggestion go a long way. Now, this particular suggestion or particular solution, as I call it, is actually landlord friendly, and the only way you can attest to the fact that it works or it doesn't work is if you prove it, or if you at least try it out. So I will encourage you as a property owner to try it out. Now, also, instead of just for clarity's sake now, instead of, if the person has paid the year what's it called, the normal rent, which is, for example, now 600,000, and it pays another 600,000 for a refundable fee. If the person stays for, let's say, up to 3 years, it does not mean that after that first year he will not pay, or she will not pay for the next year. Now, you must state clearly in the tenancy agreement that that is a refundable fee, and you state what it stands for and what it entails, so that there is understanding between the two parties. Now, I hope I've been able to help you with this suggestion. For more of the best, real estate advice, real estate consulting, real estate products right here in Nigeria, by God's grace, outside Nigeria very soon, I will suggest that you stick with this channel. Now, kindly subscribe and tell your family and friends to subscribe to this channel. The name again is Victor Fabian Osagai, and I say a very big thank you to you. Have a beautiful day. I hope this helps you. Go and try it out. Thank you. Bye.